Hello, everybody, and welcome to Huckins graduation celebration. Those were great photos. Whoever contributed to those, thank you. Huckins has already had a pretty full, experienced life, it looks like, and it's just getting started. So that was great to see. But thank you all for joining us. I know there are some people who couldn't be here, but I'm happy that we were able to also have people joining us virtually today. I'm Kyle Lephart. I'm the Executive Director of Canine Partners of the Rockies, and I'm thrilled to be here. It's a huge commitment from many people to get a dog from puppy to this point and placement. So I wanted just to thank our staff and our board. If you want to wave your hand just so people know who you are. They commit a lot of time and energy into doing this. I want to mention a couple other people. Some of Huckins' early puppy raisers, they couldn't be here today, but Anissa Estrada and Grace Wheeler, they got him off on the right foot and really got his enrichment training off so he could be who he is today. So thank you to those two as well. I know that even our puppy raisers put in a ton of time, but they can't do it themselves. We have a lot of puppy sitters as well. So if we have any puppy sitters in the room, thank you so much. I know that you give the relief that people need when they need a little extra support or need to go out of town. So thank you. Lastly, I really want to highlight two people, Sarah Hunter and Vic Talwar. You've committed thousands of hours. I think we could all see it in the photographs that were up there, how much love you gave him, how much you got training for him. He wouldn't be who he is without you two putting in the time. So thank you so much. I'm also really excited to talk about facility dogs. I think a lot of people, when they think about the work we do or just service dogs in general, they think of mobility support or guide dogs and the different types of service dogs that are out there. And a dog that often gets overlooked is facility dogs. These are working dogs as well, different access laws, of course, but they play such a huge role in people's lives. And so I think this is really exciting that we're doing this celebration today and that so many people wanted to hear about this. These service dogs are life-changing to people, of course, but so are facility dogs. I'm excited to hear Shalise and Sarah talk a little bit more about what Huckins specifically will be doing, but it takes some special traits to be a facility dog. Not every dog wants to do this work. Not every dog can do this work. So a dog really needs to be happy. They need to be comfortable working with many different people every day. So they need to be flexible in those ways. They need to be calm. They need to be comfortable being pet or snuggled regularly. The last thing I think is really important is the resiliency of these dogs. They take on a lot of that stress, that discomfort, the anxiety that someone might be going through when they might be facing a major surgery or something that a lot of us may never have to experience in our life. So these dogs kind of provide that comfort, that stress relief that people, us humans, can't always provide. So there's two kind of main things that I often hear when I hear about facility dogs and the work that they do. And the first is when a child leaves the facility, the dog is the one thing that they talk about constantly after they leave. From the families or their aides or supporters, they always talk about how the kids can't stop talking about the dog and then how much that meant to them to have the dog there. The second is from the handlers. The handlers often tell me what takes them an hour or 2 hours to do to get the person to comfort or to relieve some of that emotional, what they're going to regulate their emotions. The dog can do in 10, 15 minutes. And so they're kind of magical beings, the work that they're doing out here in the community. And I think that one of the coolest things that Huckins is going to do, by the time he retires, he's going to have impacted thousands of children in his life. And he's going to create memories for all of them. And that's pretty special. So just as I want to thank Huckins for the work that he's going to do, I also want to thank Sarah Mraz, got it, Mickey, and Shalise Hickman for caring for him. It's a two-way street. He needs support too. So thank you for recognizing when he needs a break, for when he needs a little extra love, when he might need some more treats. It's important that you guys take care of each other because you're really going to form a big bond and you're going to start anticipating each other's needs and what each other wants to make this a really successful working relationship. So thank you for putting the time in to go through our training program, the commitment you've made to this work. And I really can't wait to hear all the impactful stories that he has on the community of children here at Children's Hospital. And I hope that you'll share them with us so that we know that we want to keep doing the work that we're doing to make this happen. So thank you. So next, I want to invite up Kat. Kat is our lead trainer, and she's going to introduce a few people who have been vital to his success.
Thank you, Kyle. So my name is Kat. I am the lead service dog trainer at Canine Partners of the Rockies. And I first want to just talk to everybody a little bit about what team training is, because that is the point in the dog's life where they've gone through their entire schooling, and it's now time for the handlers to learn what is going on. So team training is not really for the dogs, it's mostly for the people. Because at that point, the dog has already gone through, a 1.5 to 2 years of training, and we now have to teach the handlers everything that the dog already knows. So we did this process where the handlers come in and we teach them a little bit every day. And there's always this point during team training where the handlers come in, and whether they have any experience with handling dogs, personal pet dogs, anything or not, they always come in and they're nervous. They always come in and they're like, I don't want to do anything to mess the dog up. First of all, you can't, right? We chose this dog and this dog chose this profession. Making a mistake is not going to mess the dog up. But there's always a point where they come in and they're nervous, and it's like, it's so much information. Team training is very taxing on the handlers. It's a lot of information. We're trying to teach the handlers what the dog has taken 2 years to learn. We're teaching the handlers in 12 days, something like that. So they come in and they're really nervous. They come in and they don't want to mess it up. They don't know how to hold the leash and how to give treats with different hands and how that all is going to figure out. And then usually sometime around day 4, something just clicks and the handlers start to get it. And you can see that they are more confident. The dog is now more confident working with them because, they're protruding confidence. And it's just such a special moment to witness. Just the growth that you see even in that short period of time. You also see the bond of the dog with the handlers grow exponentially during that time, right? The dog and handlers have already matched. We already know that, they're going to work well together, but as they're working during team training, you can see them shifting from, okay, I was in training, I was with my puppy raiser, and now these are my people. These are the people that I'm now going to look to if I'm confused about something. These are the people that I look to if I'm stressed or if I don't know what to do. And so that is just one of my favorite parts of team training, is being able to witness the growth of the handlers and the growth of the bond between the handlers and the dogs. During the dogs' time in training, before they go to team training, there are so many different people that are involved in the dog's life. They have their puppy raisers. Most of the time they have multiple puppy raisers because we like to move the dogs around to different people. And there are puppy sitters for when the puppy raisers, need a break or going somewhere that they can't take the dog. We also have a ton of other volunteers that might handle a dog at an event, or that might, have other experiences that they can provide the dog that maybe the puppy raiser doesn't have access to. And so it really does take a village to get a service dog and training puppy all the way through to where we are now at graduation. And so if you have been involved in Huckins training or care in any way, shape, or form, if you drove him, 5 minutes down the road, if you, handled him for 5 minutes at an event, if you were his puppy raiser, if you puppy sat him once, anything, will you please raise your hand? And also people who are here virtually, please also raise your hand on Zoom, just so. Very, very, very big shout out to everybody who had any hand in getting Huckins to this point. We could not have done it without every single one of you guys. I want to please call up here Sarah and Vic. They are Huckins, I would like to say main puppy raiser. That's not really a thing, but like they had Huckins for the majority of his time in training. So I'd like to call them up here to say a few words. Yeah.
Thanks, Kat. And well, I guess first and foremost, thanks for being here. We know it isn't easy taking time out of your busy schedules to be here for an event like this in the middle of the week. And if you are here, you do hold a very special place in our lives. So thank you. With that, I do have a few words prepared. We both do. And if you see any tears, it's because I have allergies. I told Sarah the first week we had Huckins that he's a special being and a very good boy. I don't think I've ever been more right about anything in my life. Over the past 18 months, Huckins has been more than a best friend. He's been a profound teacher. There's more than a few things I've learned. The first being love unconditionally. Regardless of the day or circumstances, Huckins has shown us unwavering affection. His joy to simply be with us has taught us to embrace and cherish every moment of companionship. Second, communicate well. Huckins communicates in his own way. By observing his expressions and actions, we've learned to interpret his feelings and needs. His silent conversations have taught us the value of paying attention and truly understanding one another. Count your blessings. Huckins has an appreciation for the simple things in life. Every meal, every walk, every morning, even at 5 a.m. His enthusiasm has reminded us to be grateful for every day and to savor the little joys that might otherwise go unnoticed. We also want to acknowledge the incredible team that has supported Huckins, the trainers, fellow volunteers, family, friends, and everyone who has contributed to his journey. Your dedication has been invaluable. As Huckins embarks on this new chapter, we take comfort in knowing he will impact many lives in ways we may never fully understand. While his absence will be deeply felt, his lessons will continue to inspire us. Let us all learn from Huckins to love without reservation, to communicate with intention, and to appreciate the everyday miracles. Huckins may be moving on, but his spirit and teachings will remain with us, guiding us to be better and to live more fully. Thank you, Huckins, for everything. You've made an incredible mark in our lives, and we will carry your lessons with us always. Love you, Bubba.
Okay, so my name is Sarah Hunter, and this is my partner, Big Talwar. And we had the privilege of raising Huckins for the last about year and a half. So we started back with Caper in 2022 as sitters. I had an English lab. His name was Iba. And sadly, he passed away very quickly and unexpectedly while I was on a ski trip. And he was with my parents who are here. And ever since he died, I made it my mission that I was going to help the dogs. So that started with me rescuing a dog. I convinced my friends in Oklahoma to go pick up a dog who had been left in a backyard for people that had moved out. And so that's when I started fostering rescue dogs. And in that time period, Vic and I went to brunch one day, and in walked a Caper dog. And very clearly on all the vests, it says, "Do not pet." And I looked at Vic and I was like, "I'm going to pet that dog." And so I went to the raiser and I said, "Hello, like I had a dog. They looked the same. Can I pet this dog?" And she was very nice to me and she said, yes. And I said, do you ever want any volunteers? Because I'll do this, you know. And so that's how I started with Caper. And I started as a sitter. You know, Kyle and Kat both said that raising a service dog takes a lot of people. And it really does take a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a service dog. Many of the people in this room and on Zoom, hopefully they're on there, played a crucial role in helping us shape Huckins into this perfect, wonderful angel that we all know and love. So I'd like to start by thanking all the sitters. We use sitters a lot, and sitters are also volunteers who help out other volunteers with raising a service dog. So it really wouldn't be possible without a network of sitters to do this. Which moves me into the volunteer raisers at Caper. Raising a service dog is really hard work. It is not like having a pet dog. I know it is hard work. You have outings, classes, daily training, appointments, events, socialization. And all of these volunteers in here today are doing a huge service for their community. Some have raised multiple dogs. So those volunteers have been putting in years of service for the state of Colorado. And once you raise a service dog, you can really appreciate the dedication that it takes to do this. I did not understand that in the beginning. I'm here to tell you it takes a lot. And so I just want a lot of you in here actually have a dog that you've received from an organization. So you've been blessed with the opportunity to adopt a service dog. Please remember the raisers who sacrificed their time to love, nurture, and mold this pup into a wonderful service dog that you love so dearly. It's an unselfish sacrifice that we've all done to raise a service dog and then let that dog go. So I thank you, sitters and your raisers, for all your hard work. I would also like to thank the Caper staff. We have never raised a service dog before. We did the best one, but so spending time with us, answering all of our detailed questions over and over and providing individualized training really helped us learn. I usually ask the same question over and over, so that gets annoying, I know. I appreciate your patience and empathy and the extra time spent with us to help get Huckins to where he needed to be. A special shout out to former Caper staff members, Hannah and Anissa, who were supportive and cheering us on the whole time. Thank you for the extra texts and the extra phone calls. Anissa, who I know is on Zoom, hopefully, was Huckins' first raiser from when he came from breeding to Caper. So he already knew a few commands by the time it was our turn. And so we thank Anissa for the extra love and training. I would also like to give a special thank you to my friends. They're all right there at the back. And a couple are on Zoom. When I signed up for this, I formed my whole life around it. And all of my friends have really been supportive, knowing that. They knew I was not coming to anything unless I could breed a Huckins. So they've showed a lot of support by showing up to things like taking off work to be here today. They ask about Huckins and they showed genuine interest in what we are doing. So I have such a supportive group of friends around me, and so I thank my friends. Terry and Jim Platts, who they are service dog raiser pros over there in the corner. They raised Huckins for 6 weeks while we had to do a dog swap. So they had Huckins and we had Cleo, Terry's dog. Terry finally got Huckins to do the Q side, which I thought was a lost cause. It was not happening for me. I wasn't getting it. I gave up. So if you need to let your dog to learn something, you send them to live with Terry. Terry also helped us through advanced training. Terry and Jim both helped us through advanced training when we needed to drive Huckins to Caper multiple days a week. That is a 45 to an hour long trip round. It is a 45-minute to an hour long trip round trip. So without their help, we could have not kept Huckins through advanced training. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. I would also like to thank my friend Jen. Don't look at me. Jen is a volunteer dog sitter turned my very dear friend. She would willingly take Huckins every time both Vic and I were in the office. She would commit to dog sitting many months in advance. She would meet me halfway to cut down on drive time because I work in Broomfield. I live in Denver. She lives somewhere else. She would just drive to our house to help with transport. She threw our class and our personal friends a dog graduation party that honestly really helped process our sadness, except I'm crying now, but it really did help us process our sadness over saying goodbye to Huckins, yet celebrate our huge achievement. And overall, Jen just has a huge heart for the dogs and big support for both Vic and me. And I'm so happy to have you in my circle, Jen. Thank you. Vic's parents, who couldn't be here today because they live in Alaska, but they are watching on Zoom. So we thank you for your cross-country support and love and always being interested in the hundreds of thousands of photos and videos. I would like to thank my parents. They're here today. They drove 7 hours to be here. My parents have always been animal lovers. I have siblings, but I was the youngest, so I mostly just grew up with dogs. I remember one time we went to pick up a dog from a lady in town that was giving it away, or maybe we paid for it, I don't know, but there were 2 left, and so we took them both. And when we brought them home, my dad said, I thought you were going to get 1 dog. And my mom said, but there were 2 left. And so we kept them, obviously. One time I told my mom I wanted a small dog, so she looked for them at shelters and humane societies, and she found one a couple hours away. We went and got it. When I was 4 or 5, I asked Santa for a puppy for Christmas, so my parents got a local neighbor to dress up as Santa and deliver a puppy to me on my door on Christmas Eve. That's a true story. So we always welcome dogs that strolled up to our farmhouse from getting dumped in the country or lost. They just became a part of our pack and a part of our family. And so I am blessed to be from a family of dog whisperers. When I told them that Vic and I were going to raise a service dog, they were supportive. When I told him he was matched with Children's Hospital, they said this is the best place for him. They love Huckins and they share my deep love for dogs. So thank you to my parents. And then lastly, I would like to thank my partner, Vic. We both work in an office. So when we agreed to raise Huckins, we worked through our schedules to make sure he was with someone at home all the time. And usually the person having to make the work office sacrifice was Vic. I also sleep like a feather, and this dog likes to eat. So the second I would hear Huckins get up at about 5 a.m., I was up. And for the last 1.5 years, that means Vic was up. And so we did a thing where we called it morning duty, and we would rotate who was up at 5 a.m. and who got to sleep till like 5:30 or 6. But morning duty by my standards is not like getting up and taking the dog out and feeding them. It is walking 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. It is a lot. So Vic always did his part, and he was always working his schedule around Huckins. So for 2 in-office working people, that is tough. And I could have not done this without such a patient and understanding partner who shared the same deep love and mission. So thank you, Vic. And, you know, I just want to reiterate, it does take a village. I mean, I hopefully didn't miss anybody, but it takes a lot of people. And it took a lot of people to get him to this point where he's at right now. But Vic and I really did give this our whole everything. We gave him all the love that we have, and I hope that it shows. Huckins brought us so much joy in the past 1.5 years, but he's just a joyful dog. And I hope for years to come, he touches and changes as many lives as he did ours. Thank you, Children's Hospital, for having us and giving us a chance to experience Huckins at work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Vic, for sharing those stories and those shout outs, you really touched on it. It takes everyone, and it takes everything that those people can give. When you are a puppy raiser, you are committing your time to that dog. That dog then becomes the priority because you know what a massive impact that dog is going to make no matter where it gets placed. And so I just want to, again, thank you guys for the sacrifice and commitment that it takes to raise a service dog. I now want to invite up Shalise and Sarah to the stage. So you guys will stay right here, and you guys will stay right there. Shalise and Sarah are Huckins handlers. So we are going to kind of have a leash pass. We're going to have Huckins puppy raisers pass his leash over to his handlers, and this is kind of signifying his time in training with his puppy raisers to now it's graduation, so he can go to his handlers. Yeah. And now we are going to do something that I call the vesting ceremony. As you guys have heard, it takes so much to get Huckins to where he is today. And up until this point, he has been wearing his service dog in training outfit, his vest. And so what I like to do is I like to have the puppy raisers be the ones to put on his official working vest, because they're the ones who put in all of the time and effort to get him to where he is today. So if you guys want to take off his old vest. Here's his official working vest. So this side says, just so everybody can hear, one side of his vest will say Canine Partners of the Rockies. The other side will say Children's Hospital of Colorado. And the top says Ask to Pet. Yay. So I'm going to go around this side. All right. You guys. All right. You guys may vest him. Got to get his hospital badge on there too. And then Sarah and Vic, just as a thank you from Caper. Thank you. It's a little gift from us, and then there's also a certificate. So what we like to do is when we have different levels kind of training for the service dogs, they start in puppy kindergarten, and then they go to intermediate. And then once they are starting to learn all of their advanced tasks, when they have to be dropped off at the office multiple days a week, we call that advanced training. So in there as well as your certificate for getting Huckins through the final leg of his advanced training. So thank you guys again.
Thank you.
All right, my next skill. All right. If you don't know this, when you're with somebody who has a working dog, their priority is typically the dog that they're working with. And so if you're having conversation and they just start talking to their dog, it's because the dog needs to be told something, to lay down or whatever, and you just gotta kind of wait it out until they're ready. So now I'm gonna invite Shalise and Sarah to also say a few words.
Okay, forgive me for reading this. I'm going to try not to cry. Good afternoon. My name is Shalise Hickman, and I am Huckins' primary handler. It may sound very cliche, but it has taken a village for us to be standing before you today. Standing here with Huckins is my professional dream realized, and I would not be here without the love and support of so many. I thank God every day for his guidance over the last 3 years as I've pursued my child life certification as well as in animal assisted therapy, and for the opportunities that I've been given. I want to thank my extended family and friends for their love and encouragement always, but especially over the last 3 years. And I would not be standing here today if it were not for the selfless and unwavering support of my husband, Fred, and our son, Alec. Many of you probably don't know, but we relocated from Illinois across the country specifically for this job. I also want to thank my many colleagues that have been on this journey with me, from Texas Children's Hospital, Central DuPage, and Edward Hospitals in Illinois, and now my team that has become family here at Children's Hospital Colorado. Team, over the past year, your love and acceptance and encouragement has been unmatched. And last but not least, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the entire Caper community, the staff, board, trainers, volunteers, and Huckins puppy raisers. The foundation you continue to build into all of the dogs that are placed truly impacts lives and leaves a lasting legacy for years to come. Huckins is a perfect match for Children's Hospital Colorado, for Sarah and for me. Every single day we enter through the doors, I tell him we were both made for this, and I absolutely believe it to my core. During our 12-week training, we've already witnessed his ability to meet patients, families, and staff with exactly what is needed in the moment, whether it's being a trusted friend lying next to a patient, providing unconditional love, an encouraging friend helping to teach a child about an upcoming procedure, or a playful friend letting a child play out their medical experience to help aid with coping and normalization of the hospital, or his absolutely amazing ability to simply be a stoic and comforting presence during a difficult conversation regarding a new diagnosis or the anticipated end of a precious life. He is truly extraordinary, even miraculous, and I, for one, cannot wait to see the impact that he will have on countless lives for years to come and over the course of our career. It's my absolute privilege to get to hold the other end of his leash, work alongside him every day, and witness the light that he brings with him everywhere. With that, I promise, to still allow him to just be a dog and enjoy his years full of rest and relaxation sprinkled throughout, enjoying all that Colorado has to offer. Plenty of play, taking mountain hikes, traveling, swimming, and lying in the abundant Colorado sunshine. Finally, I believe that every great dog needs a loving nickname. He has many already, but Huckleberry has been spoken all around him from the time we met, and it has definitely stuck. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I were out on a walk in the Cascade Mountains of Washington, where huckleberry bushes are in abundance. Not really knowing what the fruit looks like, I Googled it to find out, and instead was greeted in my search with, "What is a huckleberry friend?" And of course, I had to click on the link. And I'll leave you with this. According to the article, quote, "A huckleberry friend symbolizes a pure, trusted, steadfast, uncomplicated, dependable, and loyal friendship, evoking a nostalgic sense of carefree, unfettered companionship, fueled by innocence and trust. A huckleberry friend provides unwavering support, showers life with magic, and fosters a strong emotional connection. The impact of a huckleberry friendship is enduring, transformative, and leaves a lasting legacy that transcends time," end quote. I think his nickname says it all. There is no other dog that would have been more perfect for this role. And I again thank Children's Hospital Colorado and the Child Life Leadership Team for this extraordinary opportunity to work in this capacity, and to Caper for choosing Huckins as our perfect match. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shalise, for sharing that. We also have this for you. It's a little gift, plus it's your certificate and your ID cards for him. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm going to make mine short and sweet because Shalise just summed it up so beautifully. My name is Sarah Mraz, and I am Huckins' secondary handler. There's so many thank yous that I really want to make just for like my own personal journey with Huckins, but I'll do my best to cover them. First of all, I just want to thank all the staff at Caper. Kat and Michelle have trained us for 12 weeks, and to say that they've been with us through the ups and the downs is an understatement. Michelle sat with me as I cried to her one day, and she was so patient with me. But they've just been always had so much confidence in us throughout the process. Again, us saying like, we're gonna break him, and they're like, no, you're not. So I want to thank our child life department, our medical dog team, my PICU colleagues, and my friends and family also for their endless support and investment and encouragement in just our journey with Huckins. And obviously to Shalise, because this is like the weirdest co-parenting relationship you have with a coworker, and she's like the best person to do it with. I've just really been leaning on her just like for guidance throughout this process, and I really couldn't have asked for like a better person to be my rock through it. So I'm really thankful to be going through this with her too. In my really short time in working with Huckins, it's been really evident that he's been raised and trained with unconditional love, which I know Sarah and Vic also kind of mentioned too. And it's very apparent on our end, like how much love you guys have raised him with, especially from you all and Caper. So thank you guys too. So I've been a child life specialist in the PICU for 3 years, and introducing Huckins into my work has already made like a very obvious impact. Not only does he bring so much like joy and calm to the staff, but he seems to know exactly what patients and their families need. Even like if I don't know in the moment, he just seems to know right away. The first patient, I'm just going to share a couple stories of interactions we've already had. Our first patient that we worked with was a 15-year-old who was intubated and awake, and like maybe the most miserable patient I've worked with in a while. I, as a child life specialist, tried everything, and there was like nothing that could have made this better. And then I was like, okay, this is me and Huckins like first patient that we're going to be working with together. And the patient didn't want to talk about his feelings, didn't want to talk about his experience, but he wanted Huckins up in his bed. Huckins jumped up into his bed and immediately fell asleep. And I was like, okay, great. He even like laid his head on the patient's lap. The patient closed his eyes. He fell asleep, and we stood in silence for 30 minutes. And mom cried silently in the corner. And I was like, okay, this is working. This is great. And afterwards, mom was like, this like has been such a dark time, and this is like one of our only like bright moments that we've had so far. So he knew right away what to do, and it was like truly incredible. I also, unfortunately, as a child life specialist in PICU, support siblings and families through end of life as well. And we very briefly worked with a family with adolescent and young adult siblings. And he, again, just brought a sense of calm to a very traumatic situation. So it was really felt like such an honor to see him work with them through that. One of the funny things that's been happening with Huckins is that we've been working with a lot of preschool and toddler patients, just like me, like trying to get, some intros in and all the things. And he's been doing this thing where he walks into the room and he puts his head on their bed, but he presses his nose exactly on their feet and just like sits there. And like, so he's like huffing on their toes. So like the kid's like laughing because he's like tickling their feet. It's like the cutest thing ever. And I don't tell him to put his head on the bed or anything. He just walks in and does it right away. And it's like, everybody laughs. Like there's people standing outside the room like, what is happening? And I'm like, I also don't know, but it's awesome. Like he just knows. And the child is giggling, and it is just like the sweetest thing to watch. We also, he got to spend a week with me a couple weeks ago, both at home and here. And him and I spent a lot of time going on hikes and a lot of couch snuggles, a lot of bed snuggles, all of the things. And I just feel so honored to also have him in my personal life too, which is just really exciting, especially because this is my first time owning a dog, and I couldn't have asked for a better dog to kind of introduce me to that world. And he has just been absolutely the best. So this is really a one-of-a-kind experience, and I'm just so thankful, like Shalise said, to be on the other end of his leash. And I can't thank you all enough for being here too to support us. So thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. And here is your certificate and ID card and everything else that you need in there as well. I would now like to invite up Carla and Sarah to also say a few words.
Hi, everyone. That's bright. I'm Sarah, and I am the medical dog program coordinator at Children's and also a child life specialist. So it is kind of an interesting trajectory, because by the time I got to meet Huckins, and like when Carla and I really entered the picture is watching, helping identify our new handlers, and then helping them get trained from the hospital side. So we're kind of helping, they already know how to be child life specialists when they then apply to become a facility dog handler. But we are kind of helping them meld those two worlds. So I'm often encouraging that this is two skill sets that you will eventually learn how to seamlessly do all at once. But in the beginning, I hear you. In the beginning, it does feel like two different worlds that you're trying to mesh together. And I probably need my notes. So I just wanted to say a few words specifically from the standpoint of like what I view on my end. We've loved working with Caper. It's been a really special relationship, and seeing the support that our handlers can get from honestly right down the road is really tremendous, and something I wish I had had when I first got Galaxy. But I wanted to say a few words specifically about my observations to Sarah and Shalise in kind of the beginnings of their journey here. But first, I wanted to state that we already love Huckins so much. And we know how much work goes into preparing one of these facility dogs. So we, especially as handlers, are not lost on how much work goes into this before they come into our world. So we just really thank you to the whole Caper community for helping us make this work that we do possible. And he is in the best of hands with Shalise and Sarah. But Sarah, you are the perfect auntie to Huckins. And it's really special to see you begin this journey as a PICU child life specialist. I have watched you own in on your child life skills over the last few years. You dive into complex and often heartbreaking situations without hesitation, and you build trust with patients facing life-changing circumstances. I've already seen you think so intentionally about how you incorporate Huckins into your work in the PICU and helping patients feel safe and seen, and you guys show up for families who need a great deal, but probably what they need most in the moment is to just be and to feel safe. So I am really proud of you, and I can't wait to see you both thrive together through the best and the not so great moments as a team. Shalise, I will never forget speaking with you on the phone for the first time when we were seeing if this position could potentially be a good fit for you. And I had this feeling, I told Carla and Janaea deep in my gut that this was something, and I could feel your passion for this work emanating across the phone line. Since then, you have really blown me away with your wisdom and your patience and your grace, even in the challenging and unknowns of this past year. You're made for this, and it brings me to tears that this is coming to fruition finally for you. Watching you and Huckins as a pair has been a gift, and shown me that this is truly meant to be. I'm proud of you, and I also get to learn from you every day. Thank you for humbly sharing the wisdom that you have with our entire team. And thank you for choosing to do this work for all of the right reasons. I think the best is yet to come. And to you both, any handler that we have here will tell you this work is so special and so hard and so worth it. The team you guys make with Huckins at your side will have ripple effects beyond what you will ever know. Some days you will want to cry or wonder if you're doing this job well enough. Other days you will feel like you're letting Huckins down. But then there will be days that you wonder how you ever did this job without him. And every day, I hope that you know that you're showing up as a team at work and at home. And one of my favorite things about this work is that your dog helps others in such significant ways, but your dog also changes you. And I believe that with my whole heart to be true. This bond is hard to describe, and I believe that the three of you are made to do this work together. And your support systems here truly speak volumes that you are not alone in this. So I'm really excited to see what the future holds for the three of you.
I'm going to go quickly because I know that we're at time, but I wanted to thank all of you for the role that you had in Huckins and the other dogs that you help. We also know how important the service dog, because many of our patients have those dogs. So thank you for that. Caper, just my heartfelt gratitude to you for the partnership over the last 2 years. It's just been incredible for us. Many of the people sitting here from the child life side know that this has been a dream that we've had to have a facility dog program for many years. And for many years, we were told by our infectious disease people, absolutely not, it'll be never, don't even ask, to quit bringing it up. And then finally we won them over and now they're our biggest champions and they're huge. But what the child life specialists do every day, for those of you that don't know, I encourage you to go home and look it up, and because most people don't know what a child life specialist is unless you've had a child in your life impacted by illness or injury. What they do is they change lives, and what these dogs do is exactly how Sarah said it. It just makes it incredible. And it's funny to me, and luckily we have really good sense of humor handlers here, because often they'll be like, the dog was the best thing that ever happened to that kid coped because of the dog. And there is also some skill set that comes with being a handler and preparing kids and making sure that all the right things happen. So thanks to all of you. And Caper, I look forward to many, many years of working together. Thank you. And Kat, I will hand this off to you.
Thank you all so much. You guys can have a seat. I just want to give one last thank you to everybody here for any part that you had in getting Huckins to this point. Thank you for supporting our new team and for attending graduation. Please feel free to mingle amongst yourselves and to enjoy the refreshments with Huckins' face on them. And once again, congrats to our new teams.